Could somebody read it for me, please? You have it in your notes. Could you read the principle? The diagram looks like this.
The angle subtended at the center of a circle is twice the angle at the circumference.
Okay. The angle subtended at the center of the circle is twice the size of the angle at the circumference. So, Julius, you weren't here yesterday. I gotta identify my circumference. Meaning I have to know some things. There's some basic things that I have to know. When I say a circle, I have to know that this all around the circle is called the what? It's called the circumference. It's called the circumference. All around the circle is called the circumference. So there are some things I have to know about the circle. Now, they didn't ask me to go into all of that with you at grade 11 or grade 12 because they expect you to know that from grade 7 or 6. I am supposed to know the circumference of a circle. I am supposed to know that from the center to any point on the circumference is called the radius. I am supposed to know that. From the center to any point on the circumference, I'm going to get a radius. I am also supposed to know that the line straight across the center of the circle is going to be called the diameter. Okay, I'm supposed to know. They are assuming that we already know these things from what grade again, Amir? Grade 7 or grade 6. They're assuming that you didn't forget these things from grade 6 or grade 7. The line across the center of the circle is the diameter. Half of the diameter is going to be the radius. Or from the center of the circle to any point on the circumference is going to be called the diameter. They also expect you to know something else. If I cut a line across here, now notice I didn't go down to the center, I went close to the top of this the circumference, and I do a line across here. This piece that is across here is going to be called an arc. Okay, this line across here is going to be called an arc of the circle. Okay, so they expect us to know a few things. Because if we don't know these things, then we would not be able to apply them to what we now call circle theory. Okay, so these are basic things that we're supposed to do. So I know that right here is the center of the circle. There goes the center of the circle. And they're giving me an angle right here that says this is 160 degrees. The angle at the center of the circle is 160 degrees. And the formula says, or the rule says, that the angle that is subtended from the center of the circle to any point on the arc, on the circumference, any point on the circumference of the circle is half. The angle at the center is twice as much as the angle that is subtended. So, if this is 160, this angle is going to be 80 degrees. Okay. So they could give you a diagram that looks like that. Or they could give me a diagram that looks like this. And they could tell me that this is 50 degrees, and they could ask me, so what is the size of that angle? And what would I tell them? 100, because this angle here is half of whatever my angle here is. So x in this case will be equal to 100 degrees, because this is 50 degrees. That was principle number 1. You're trying to say repeat this? Or you're trying to say, I understand this? Okay. Okay. Can you repeat this? Let's read the principle again. It is a principle, it's a rule that is given. Could we read the rule again? angle subtended at the center of the circle is twice the size of the angle at the circumference. Now you notice they say subtended because it's the angle outside here that they're asking for, not the angle inside here. Okay? That's why they say it's subtended. Okay? Hence these two lines coming down and my angle right here. The angle subtended at the center is going to be twice. Julius, you have to look at me and pay attention to me, not the sky while I'm speaking. And that's how you're going to know that I don't have to repeat this because you're paying attention. The angle subtended at the center is going to be twice the size of the angle at the circumference. And I just say this is the circumference. So, I have given you two separate examples. One example, example number one, is when they give me the angle subtended. They say the angle subtended is 160 degrees, and they ask me to find the angle at the circumference. The angle at the circumference is going to be half of that angle which is subtended. So this is 160, half of 160 is 80 degrees. That's one example that they gave us. The next example that they gave us is when they gave us the angle at the circumference. Angle at the circumference is 50. So pay attention to me. The angle subtended has to be 2 times of 50, which is going to be 100. Hence we get 100. Okay. So that was rule number one that we looked at yesterday. We also looked at another rule, and the other rule that we looked at was, read the rule for me.
Angles subtended by an arc of a circle are equal.
Angle subtended, and it's supposed to be within the same arc. Angle subtended within the same arc of a circle are going to be equal. So I could do a diagram that looks something like this. That looks a little bit crazy. Okay, so usually comes out like a triangle. Okay. So I do a diagram that looks something like that. Okay. But earlier we went into looking at what, and so you know that my arc will probably cut a line somewhere there. And my arc, these two angles right here are within the same arc of the circle, and therefore these two angles here are going to be what? Equal. These two angles here are going to be equal because they are within the same arc. So if this one is 20 degrees, then this one is also going to be 20 degrees because they are within the same arc. So they will give you the circle and they will ask you, so what is angle X or what is angle Y? And we're simply using the principle and say the angle subtended on the arc is equal to. They are equal. They are both equal. Now, what we have to remember, and we're going to work with those two rules again a little bit more today. What we have to remember, as I said, when they give us these work, most of the times, trying to get this. Most of the times they will give us within these. Okay, that one is better. Most of the times they will give us within these some shapes, which in the most part will be what? That's a shape will be triangles, which in the most part will be triangles. Within this circle, they gave me 2 triangles. Did you see that? They gave me 2 triangles. Now, they could tell me that this is 40. They could ask me to find X. But they could also ask me to find another angle. Okay? Now, I'm supposed to do this a little bit better. Okay, so let's say they tell me that that's 40, and they also tell me that this is 60. And they ask me to find X and Y. Well, they could ask me to find X, Y, and Z. Should I be able to find that?
That's all.
Yes. Because we are now going back to rules, basic rules. Rules Angles in a triangle. Angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Rules. Angles subtended within the same arc of a circle, they are equal. Okay. Rule. Vertically opposite angles are equal. And so here am I pulling in all kinds of other rules. So I have to remember all the rules from angles. And that is why circle theorem comes at the end of angles. Basically at the end of angles. When we have done all the rules